Hey everybody, it's Joric. Welcome back. I wanted to make this video regarding Portugal real estate as people are continuing to move to Portugal regardless of what's happening with the NHR tax regime. For various reasons, people are going to continue to move here to live their life because they feel like that's a better option here than other places that they're considering or their home country they would be moving from. So I wanted to show you something here. This article in the Portugal News, a lot of stuff I question coming out of this particular publication as well as the Portugal Resident. This one here is showing over 150,000, I'll say, habitable properties, or let's call them move-in ready properties that the INE here in Portugal has determined are available. And if people just bought them and moved in or rented them and moved in, some of the supply issue goes away. And I wanted to give you some background on some things here. This INE website is a great one. If you like numbers and you like looking at certain things and making an informed decision on Portugal, you can do a deep dive and go down rabbit holes on this website. I think it's an excellent website to get some good data from, more so than, let's say, us that make content. In fact, many of us use this site to determine what we're going to make videos on. But they're suggesting, I mean, when we moved, there were over 700,000 empty properties across Portugal, mainland and the islands. Those are everything from land to complete gut jobs and fixer-up to move-in ready. And so the INE, it looks like it's a little dated, but their most recent metrics are saying of what was listed for sale or rent, there's about 154,000, the most recent data that they were doing, of properties that I would call move-in ready. They don't need anything, meaning you get the keys, you move in, you don't have to fix up anything other than maybe buying some furnishings. It has all the appliances, it has what you need to get into the place. And what I wanted to talk about just briefly in this video is looking at this. Someone may say, well, how come the prices aren't diving? Okay, we got all this supply out there, and you see videos about there's more supply, more stuff for rent, more stuff for sale. I think the question here has always been in Portugal, quality over quantity. The reason that prices are still high in Lisbon for rentals and for purchase price for buying property, and I'll say Porto as well as the Algarve, the majority of people moving here that want to buy a property want something that has more stuff, more amenities. So it's more of an 80-20 principle or maybe a 90-10 principle, meaning 80 or 90% of what's out there available people are not interested in, or they're wanting to pay much less than what's being offered. 10 to 20% is more of the retail or the premium places that people want to pay rent or buy. And that hasn't changed in the 4.5 years that we've been here. So although this story and the INE is stating there's over 154,000 properties that people could move into immediately, it is, I think, a question of quality over the quantity. How big is it? What is the type of construction? What are the amenities in them? More people moving from more countries want heat and AC in the property versus just taking it without those amenities. Location, where are you located? Are you close to a place? Do you need a vehicle? Are you close in proximity to a train line, a bus line, or a metro line, for instance, if you're in Lisbon? Those are all things. If you're in the Algarve, or let's say along the coastline, where are you located? Are you close to a beach? Or are you in the city center? Are you in an apartment complex that's well maintained? Are you in one that's falling apart? Are you in a subdivision that people take care of their property and their homes? Or are you in a subdivision that is not the case? So when you're reading and you're looking at identifying places to live in Portugal and properties within those places that you want to live, I would spend time, I would recommend looking at the quality versus the quantity. I've looked at almost 500 properties in 4.5 years here. I've looked at a lot of stuff. And I will say there are things that real estate agents and owners say is move-in ready that I don't think there's no way in the world they're move-in ready, but they say that they are. I think most of the places I've looked at, almost 500, like 480 properties at the moment, probably 350 to 375 needed something. There were probably about 100 that were truly move-in ready without any issues. So with that, it is something to keep in mind that if you look at this and going, okay, the prices are going to just drop substantially, we're going to be able to get rents for much less than what we've been looking at, we're going to be able to make a killer deal on a property when we're looking to buy it, we're going to be able to come in and save 20, 30, 50% off of what we've been looking at the last few years. It's just not going to happen. If you want a fixer-upper, you want something that's falling apart in terrible condition, there's plenty across Portugal that you can get. It's also going to take you a long time to renovate them. I can tell you from people that have bought buildings or bought property, trying to get permitting done, trying to get labor, consistent labor, and trying to make sure permitting gets done in a timely manner. That's a complete separate video, which is an absolute nightmare. I'd never consider or recommend anyone buying property here and renovating because of the timeline and time frame it takes to do that. But I would say with all of the property that's available, there's still, of that 154,000 that's allegedly available move-in ready, maybe there's only 20,000 or 10,000 of those properties that are of the quality or have the amenities that people want, where they're going to be willing to pay the price or pay the rent for those properties. I do want to leave you with this one note, as people are talking about, well, they're looking at rent control here in Portugal and things like that. I have friends that are paying $1,750 a month for a T2, a two-bedroom apartment in Saldana. In a couple of months, that's now going to be moved to $3,500. Nothing they can do about it. It's going to double in price. So they're looking for property to live right now. I don't know who in the world is going to be paying $3,500, but the landlord thinks that he can get it. So more power to him. But I would say prices here across Portugal when you're looking at property, interior area, low density population areas, there's still good deals to be had. But if you're looking at Lisbon, Porto de Algarve, of this 154,000 you're going to pay a premium for, prices are continuing to go up. Rents are continuing to go up regardless. It just is. Although supply is increasing both in the rental market and in the sales market, the prices aren't, because people are still willing to pay a premium for the good stuff. And there's more, I think, crap or not that great of quality that's coming onto the market right now. And that's, please understand, that's not a knock on the Portuguese. It just so happens to be where we live. If I was back in the United States, depending on where we're living and the same data came up, I would say the same thing. People pay for quality regardless of your nationality and regardless of where you're living. People tend to not pay as much for stuff that is not quality or low grade at best. So as you're looking at Portugal, again, keep in mind, you're going to pay more and pay more rent for stuff for what you're wanting. And as more people come and continue to come, more of you, regardless of where you are in the world, are more discerning too. You're more particular about what type of place you want to live in. So it's only going to keep prices going up, not stabilizing or going down. Just my opinion. If you disagree, blast me in the comments. I'm okay with that, kind of used to it. But I think that living here and seeing tons of properties, prices are going to continue to go up. And even if they have 500,000 empty properties available, which they actually have more than that available, again, quality over quantity. You get what you pay for in many cases. As always, thank you so much for watching these videos. Enjoy your travels.